what happens when the discussions go off track? How much do you allow for that? And then, when do you need to kind of like bring it back and refocus on your essential question or the specific discussion questions you want them to be gearing towards?
I think discussions going off track is a mark of good discussion, actually. I will argue that because in kind of exploring those negative spaces, those blank spaces, like we were talking about Blues for Mr. Charlie, and all of a sudden we're talking about Zelda. How did this happen? But it shows me that they are making connections between what we are saying. And sometimes those connections are really, really fuzzy. And so I kind of let them go off the rails for a bit. And then I kind of will say, okay, I'm going to pause and bring us back. What I'm hearing is, and then I'll paraphrase for them what they are saying and how it connects back to the text. And then reintroduce and say, does anybody have anything else to say on this before we move to the next point? And that's totally fine. I think it both models for them the space to kind of stumble through their thoughts a bit, but also, okay, how do I bring my group back to task when we get off task? Because we also do a lot of group work in my class. They teach a lesson to the class. They have mock trials. They do a lot of things. And so they have to be comfortable enough, not calling each other out, but saying, all right, y'all, that was great. That was hilarious. Let's bring it back. So I'm actually okay with that because, again, in those spaces, they are actually gathering their thoughts. And you're also getting people in who might not have wanted to jump in before, and you're building relationships. And that's the point. So I'm actually okay with them going off. Now, obviously, if they're just way, way off the track and like we are never getting back, let's just bring it back, bring it all the way together. But
Yeah, no, I love that you kind of have some of that responsibility on the students too to bring it back. That makes so much sense. And again, if you can make the connection out to that idea, then somebody is certainly capable of making that connection back to the text.
Yeah, it's basically just kind of moving away from the like my classroom management has to be like I have to be, and realizing that when you do that, especially with high schoolers, they are going to take up the charge. It makes them feel more like adults. It gets them ready for college, and they don't have to rely on me as much to make the learning happen for them. So, and that's what should be happening at this stage. I should be preparing them to walk into a space and make learning happen. And so that's what and then in middle school, yes, I probably would be a lot more controlled in terms of what they discussed and how they did it. But I would probably also have a lot of our first discussions be like, who's your favorite superhero and different things like that before we moved into the academic space, because that's how their brains think and that's how they would learn. So like, what's the best Spider-Man movie? Because the new one's out right now. I might start them with something like that before diving into like a really deep, heavy social justice topic.